أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome back all and everyone listening in to this live stream. I'm going to be reading some statements from a brother who's been released and had his restrictions lifted, his experience from the criminal justice system here, and it's just a awareness being raised and a wake up call, and also to alert the Muslims who are heedless, heedless of the situation, heedless of what's really going on. So, without further ado and delay, I shall begin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Um, so, this is from a brother, this is his experience. He titled it The British Injustice System. Having participated in many protests, demonstrations, and campaigns to free prisoners of faith, I'm not unfamiliar with Muslims being imprisoned for their unwavering belief in Islam. Anyone with a genuine interest in Muslim hostages or prisoners around the world will be aware that many of our scholars, activists, intellectuals, and other practicing Muslims are today suffering at the hands of the tyrannical regimes around the world. Sheikh Omar Bakri Muhammad in Lebanon being just one, and we can name many others as well. We can name many others as well besides them. Many of our scholars and du'at and activists are in the jails and in the prisons. So he continues, speaking personally as a prisoner of faith, my own experience of suffering oppression at the hands of the British regime for merely airing my Islamic views has given me a unique perspective of the British legal and prison system. For starters, I'm the only man who has been experienced both the high security unit in Belmarsh, where Julian Assange was kept, as well as being the first occupant of the first separation centre in Frankland Prison, Durham. Moreover, my legal background, having qualified as a solicitor years ago, allows me to have more informed opinion of the state of the genuine abuse and violations being suffered by Muslims today at every level within the justice system. In time, I hope, inshallah, to publish a book detailing the gross misconduct, mismanagement, and discrimination faced by Muslims at all levels of the justice system, but particularly within British prisons. However, here I want to merely point out a couple of things to make awareness for those innocent Muslims still suffering in prison and who may have been charged or who are awaiting trial because they happen to be practicing Muslims. The most obvious reality is that there are many genuinely innocent Muslims who have been convicted and who are in prison, even according to an objective application of the increasingly draconian laws in the UK. Factors which actualize this fact and, and exacerbate it are a biased police, biased CPS, biased judges and lawyers, and of course, juries which are constantly subject to anti-Islam and anti-Muslim propaganda in the mainstream media, and who therefore, in many cases, have already decided how they will vote without paying any real attention to the facts of case or the relevant law. In cases involving complex matters such as tax fraud cases, to add to the problem of the jury system, the facts of a case can go way above the heads of jurors. We can today add to this list detailed Islamic jurisprudential or theological issues, as in my case. So he's speaking about his case, which many ordinary Muslims don't properly understand, let alone non-Muslims. Once incarcerated, a whole plethora of extra injustices expose themselves to Muslims. For starters, speaking about and inviting others to Christianity is considered fine in prison, whereas if a Muslim invites another to share their belief, they are immediately treated as radicalizing others and being involved in extremist activities and are hence considered for isolation and segregation. Uh, Munir Faruqi being a good example, with whom I shared the separation center, a man who was already in prison unjustly in the first place. May Allah release him, Ameen, and may Allah release all other Muslim prisoners, Ameen. The Messenger Muhammad made it an obligation for Muslims to free Muslim hostages and captives. In view of the above, I urge my fellow Muslims not to forget the plight of their brethren in prison and not to believe the media have about their brothers and sisters. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, O you who believe, if a fasiq comes to you with any news, verify it, lest you should harm people in ignorance, and afterwards you become regretful for what you have done. So, with regards to Sheikh Omar Bakri Muhammad, Hafizahullah, and one of my teachers, this is a statement with regards to him. This is an urgent appeal to all those with a conscience to make awareness about the plight of Sheikh Omar Bakri Muhammad, who has languished in Lebanon's notorious Rumiyah prison since April 2014. Sheikh Omar's actual official sentence ended 3 years ago, but nevertheless, he continues to be held. He has been in solitary confinement in a tiny room with hardly space to move for the last 2 years. Subhanallah. He is only allowed a 10-minute visit behind a screen once a week and no phone calls. After years when he finally made an appearance recently, the court said that the Sheikh had not attended a single court hearing over the years. However, in reality, all this time, he was being taken out from his cell blindfolded, was mishandled and held outside the court, waiting in a vehicle, and then told after a few hours that his court date had been postponed. Sheikh Omar has appealed for all those in the media and Muslims to make awareness about his case and put pressure on the Lebanese authorities to release him on compassionate grounds, if not purely on the grounds of justice. His young children are having to grow up orphans, all the while building up hope that their father will be released, only to be bitterly disappointed. So this is on behalf of his family. Okay. All right. Here's another statement. The call for Sharia is just being a Muslim. Okay. It is essential today to question all of our beliefs and to ensure that they have a firm basis because decisions we make based upon our beliefs not only shape our own lives but also impact upon others. As a Muslim, my firm belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in the finality of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu comes with it the acceptance of all the tenets of Islam encompassed in the Sharia. Unlike Christianity, which prides itself on the maxim, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's and give unto God what is God's, Islam believes that Caesar, as well as all the subjects, must abide by and be subservient to God's law. This means that not only in social affairs, but also in the economy, in ruling and in the foreign policy, Islam and Sharia are the only basis for legislation. Sadly, due to the fact that not only are Muslims a minority in this country, but also the fact that the majority of Muslims have had a secular education and have been indoctrinated with concepts which are anathema to Islam and Muslims like democracy, freedom, and liberalism. It is true that the majority of Muslims not only do not know what the Sharia or Islam is in terms of ruling and the economy, etc., but they have also wholeheartedly adopted secularism and democracy instead. This has led many to unfortunately leave the fold of Islam, and among them are also a vocal few who not only have abandoned Islam but have become propagandists for secularism and democracy. Let us be clear that when anyone says that they do not want the Sharia, whether in Britain or in Pakistan or indeed anywhere, they are effectively saying that they do not want to obey Allah because implementing and abiding by the Sharia is just this. For those who believe they can isolate Britain or France or America, and contend that Muslims should only call for the Sharia in Muslim countries, this is also erroneous. After all, the whole planet Earth belongs to Allah, and His laws should indeed must be implemented everywhere. The vitriol that I have faced over the years for calling for Islam, the Sharia in Britain, and indeed everywhere in the world, therefore is not surprising. What is surprising, however, is that a few so-called educated Muslims, imams, the protagonists of Islam, those who claim to have studied Islamic jurisprudence or the Sharia, are sometimes found opposed to Allah and His Messenger and the Sharia. So this is merely a reminder to myself and fellow Muslims, and a lesson to non-Muslims and those who believe in secular democracy, that the call for the Sharia should not come as a surprise to anyone, especially practicing enlightened, knowledgeable Muslims. And it certainly is not radical, extreme, or any other negative label you might wish to use. It is just being Muslim on God's earth, on Allah's earth. Yeah, yeah, this is the situation, and this is the experience for many. Many of our brothers and sisters imprisoned unjustly, unfairly, without right, and languishing behind bars. And even um, before even going on trial, you find that it's Muslims that are held like the longest before a trial. You know, in some cases, they will have been in remand for up to and over a year. Is this justice? Is this justice to keep somebody in remand over a year awaiting sentence? What about his family? What about his offsprings? What about his loved ones? Are you not also punishing them? Are they not suffering as a result of your actions? How many of our brothers and sisters around the world been held in camps and detentions? Look at China. You know, they call it re-education camp, but we know it's a concentration camp in order to turn the Muslimin into apostates and strip them from their identity. This is a fact. What about the camps in north of Syria, where thousands of our mothers and sisters and brothers are held, and children? What's happening about them? Where's their human rights? How is that fair? How is that just? And the people that are imprisoned without unfairly and unlawfully, just for airing and expressing their views. So there's a contradiction, there's a loophole in this so-called freedom of expression. It's freedom to insult messengers and prophets. But when you talk about certain things, when you talk about making hijrah, when you're talking about certain topics, the freedom is doesn't apply. So it's either there's freedom of speech or there isn't. Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. Yeah, I mean, it's incumbent upon us to, as Muslims, to do whatever we can to help and alleviate the plight of Muslims in prison. But you also find that there's obstacles. There can be obstacles and hurdles in the way in trying to achieve that, in trying to reach out to them and help and aid them. There can be obstacles. You know, uh, uh, what's the condition? What's the situation in the prison? I've heard that they only get 1 hour in a day to themselves outside in the park to exercise, to refresh themselves for leisure. But the whole 23 hours, they're banged in the cell. Very detrimental to the mental health. Subhanallah. So it's best to avoid prison by all cost. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destines and decrees for you to be a prisoner, then we should ask that He keeps us steadfast and firm, because that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, to be steadfast and firm and not to compromise. And even the prisoner is under duress. So he's under duress. Anyway, I would like to play an interview with one of our brother, Abdul Hakim. That interview, man. This was about a few years ago. Just waiting for this to show up. If I'm gonna open the panel soon, if the brothers. So yeah. Just gonna open the panel soon. بإذن الله. Let me see. Let me see. How do I do this now? Wait. Brave tabs. Yeah, let's watch this interview. Our brother Abdul Hakim, the one that used to go to the park, may Allah preserve him, because he also ended up he spent time inside as well. He's been a prisoner himself, and but this was before. This was a few years ago. This interview, and it's quite interesting. The answers he gave.
Yeah, so after the big day, after the support demonstration, 1,500 people, after the short court hearing, after Tommy meet and greet with hundreds of fans, I went to a bar just to sit down and catch up on things. And Gavin McInnes was there, and he pointed across the street and said, "There's a known jihadi." I said, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And he sent me this article from the newspaper, and he said, "That guy's outside." And I said, "Well, there's so many cops out here. I feel safe-ish." And I had actually overheard earlier the police knew a jihadi was in the area, so I knew that things probably would be safe. So I walked up to him and I said, "Well, hi, I'm Ezra Levant with the Rebel. I hear you're a jihadi. Are you?" And here's how that conversation went. My name's Ezra Levant from the Rebel.media in Canada. What's your name?
Abdul Hakim.
Do you also go by the name?
Why they call him jihadi? Come on, man! Like we don't even recognize these terms. Jihadi. It's ridiculous. They made this up. Anyway, let's play, man.
Ricardo McFarlane. That used to be your name?
I'm Abdul Hakim. That's my name.
And can I ask what brought you here today? Were you here for the Tommy Robinson event?
Yeah, obviously I'm here. One of the main reasons why I come here, it's Qadr Allah I came here actually, but one of the main reasons is to challenge Tommy Robinson to debate, and number one, and number two, to MMA fight, charity fight. And I think this is one of the ways, you know, I don't think that Tom Robinson's being sincere with a lot of things he's saying. I don't think he's being objective. I think he's not got any academia regarding Islam. If you want to talk about Islam, you talk about it from the usul, the foundations and the principles of the religion. You just come and say blurt out stuff, because it's not sincere.
Can I ask what your foundations are in Islam?
My foundations my foundations come from the usul, which is the principles of the religion.
Are you a convert to or a revert to Islam?
I'm a revert, yeah. Alhamdulillah.
May I ask what faith you were born and grew up in?
Well, everyone's born Muslim, even you were born Muslim, and I invite everyone here to Islam. I invite all of you because.
How did your parents raise you?
I was raised as a Christian. I went to church most Sundays. I went to Seven Sisters Church. I used to go there, and.
What caused you to leave the church and become a Muslim?
I realized Islam is the truth, and I realized that Islam is superior to. I believe that
Can I ask you a question though? There's different ways to promote Islam. There's peaceful ways. There's even peaceful jihads or struggles, and there's violent ways. Do you support violent ways of jihad?
Well, there's no peaceful way of doing jihad, is there? I mean, when you're killing someone, it's not peaceful, is it?
I've been told that jihad just means struggle, and it was possible to have a peaceful struggle. Is that not true?
Jihad is just a peaceful struggle.
I don't know. I was told that. Is that not accurate?
Yeah. So in Islam, we have something called jihad. Yeah, that's in Islam. So just to make this question more relevant to the people, if you were, do you think it's justified for America to go to war, to attack certain countries like Iraq? Do you think that's justified?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it's not justified. It's clearly not justified.
So what should be the retribution on America?
Well, I don't believe that America has any moral ground to stand on. In terms of governments, if you look at Donald Trump, one of the first things he did when he came to office was to kill innocent children. He killed Anwar al-Awlaki's, son, and he killed his daughter.
So what's the proper
straight away when he came to power? But the thing is, there's a difference between the people in governance and there's a difference between the leadership. I believe that the leadership in this country, I believe that Muslims in general should call for a solution to the hypocrisy of man-made laws in this country, because the Sharia is the solution, ultimate solution for.
So, but what's the way to get Sharia law in the UK? Would you enforce it on the public through attacks? Like through, do you believe that British soldiers should be attacked because they're manifestations of the secular state?
Yeah, if I believe this, then I wouldn't be here.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I believe this, I wouldn't be. So
Where would you be?
what I'm doing now, what I've been doing through the years is promoting the Sharia through peaceful means. Through speaking about Islam, by speaking about the justice of Islam, and also putting down democracy as a hypocrisy.
So if you don't like democracy, do you think who should make the rules? Who should make the rules?
Allah.
But who interprets that? Would you interpret that?
Yeah, that's why I said there's a soul. If you look up,
Just look at how the crowd starts to gather around him. See, but the people in reality are in fear. Anyway, let's continue.
the soul of tafsir, there's principles in Islam how to rule by the Sharia. It's not just like you just make up your own laws.
Now, I didn't know who you were until a friend said that you were associated with some men who were charged with terrorism. Is that true?
Well, that's your interpretation. It's not open to interpretation.
I'm here to find out the facts because I had never heard of you until an hour ago.
The BBC associated with Jimmy Savile.
Yes.
Exactly.
So what's going on? Like, how comes they're still able to propaganda? How comes no one's been charged with the BBC with associating? My message is very simple. I'm a Muslim. Okay, I call for the justice of Islam, which is free food, clothing, and shelter for all citizens. It's injustice to pay for food. It's injustice to work from 8 till 9 every day, or 8 till 6 every day, just for to pay your rent. Just to pay for your food.
I want to ask you a question. Some of the attacks that we've seen in London recently on the Westminster Bridge, on other bridges, do you condemn those, or do you think that those people had the right idea?
If you look at the 9/11 attacks, for example, do
you condemn those?
Let me talk about the 9/11.
That should be easy to do, right?
Let me just say something. You have to look at the narrative. You have to look at things step by step.
But how about the innocent people who were on the Westminster Bridge?
Let's look at that. We have to look at the attacks themselves. 9/11. What did they say? I was watching a report when I was a non-Muslim. They said they found the passport of the one who did 9/11 at the attack.
Okay, but I'm not talking about 9/11. I was talking about here in London.
What I'm trying to say to you is the media is very disingenuous with how they report stuff.
So you don't think that
I don't trust the media.
Okay, can I ask you a question? I don't trust the media either, but I want to ask you a question. The Westminster Bridge, I was there on the Westminster Bridge shortly after a Muslim revert like yourself got in a car, ran down the road and ran down a bunch of civilians of many different backgrounds, many of whom were foreign tourists, so they weren't even Brits.
When was this?
This was last year. Do you believe that happened, or do you believe that's a media propaganda?
I'd rather condemn the crimes of Britain and America against Muslims.
So you won't speak out against that? Is it because you don't believe it happened?
It doesn't make sense. If someone comes in and beats up my mom or beats up my family members, and I'll go and take revenge against that individual, and everyone condemns me and doesn't condemn the actual crime that took place before, I think that's hypocrisy. We should look at everything holistically.
But the people on the street, they had nothing to do with it, though, did they?
Like Tommy Robinson, has he ever come on the streets and condemn what Edward Heath did? Has he ever come on the streets and condemn Theresa May delaying the institutional paedophilia in the Westminster? Has he ever done anything for the people or victims of the church? The Pope and all the institutional things happening in the church.
I don't know if he has.
On evil, he's focusing on evil Muslims. Okay, that have drugged up.
Are there any evil Muslims in the UK?
There are some certain people. Okay, that call themselves Muslims that do evil things.
Are there Muslim rape gangs? And police are prosecuting them. Do you think that do you think there are Muslim rape gangs in the UK?
Obviously, there are people, that claim to be Muslim that are doing crimes, I'm not disputing that. But what Tommy Robinson, if he's sincere, he needs to focus on the people that are ruling this country. They are in many parts paedophilic. They have Edward Heath.
I just want to. I hear what you're saying. You're saying I don't want to condemn certain acts if I don't condemn other ones. But can't you condemn both? If you're critical of the United States for something, why can't you also say those innocent pedestrians on Westminster Bridge, they were victims of can't you why won't you say that? Because I think that most people of every race and religion would say what was done there was wrong. Can't you say that?
I believe that it has a narrative for the.
Why can't you say that?
Let me answer the question.
Not answering me.
The question. Every media has an objective as a sign.
I just want to know.
You want to ask questions and make me answer. Like, come on, man. I'm a Muslim, innit? I have Islam. All believers, innit? Alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim and I'm superior. And what I say, okay, is up to me, innit? I don't. A Muslim should be condemned at expense of what their attacks on Muslims.
So you would never condemn a Muslim, no matter what he did.
What the war in Iraq?
You never condemn him.
Many Muslims were killed because.
So you would never condemn him, no matter what he did.
Not on camera, no. Alhamdulillah.
Not on camera. But in private, would you?
In private, things to say. Yeah, but
to say, what kind of things would you say to a, in private? Let's say you took a car and ran down a bunch of civilians on Westminster Bridge. What would you say to that man in private?
It's a logical question. I don't want to answer that question.
It's not a hypothetical question because it actually happened.
Well, that's your opinion, isn't it? You know what I'm saying?
So you don't even think it happened? You don't even think the Westminster Bridge happened?
I don't trust the media.
So you just don't believe it? Last question. What do you think should happen to Tommy Robinson?
I believe Tommy Robinson, I believe that he hasn't broken the law. If you even if good at their law, he's just reported on the case. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing really that he's broken. You know what I'm saying? So from that perspective, you know, he shouldn't go to prison. But I believe that he should be sincere and have a proper debate on the issue of what he's talking about, because I believe he's insincere with a lot of things he's saying. And I believe that if he doesn't want to debate or anything like that, he should fight him in an MMA match. I'm here.
Are you an MMA fighter?
No comment, innit? No comment.
So the brother Abdul Hakim offered him out for MMA, but no response from Tommy, I believe, nor any of his supporters.
I don't know why that's no comment. Do you think that if he hasn't broken any secular law, has he broken any Sharia law?
Yeah, he's broken Sharia laws.
Which ones? What has he done wrong?
Well, blasphemy. He's done blasphemy. So he's insulted Islam.
Do you think blasphemy laws should be enforced in the UK?
Sorry?
Do you think blasphemy laws should be enforced in the UK?
I believe the UK is non-Islamic law, so it doesn't matter what law they bring, you know.
But do you think that in the UK someone should be prosecuted for blasphemy?
If Islam rules the UK, for example, the first thing that's going to be done is sort out the needs of the people. So the food, clothing.
What would you do with if the UK was under Sharia law? What would you do to Tommy Robinson?
Well, Tommy Robinson, obviously he'll be charged, okay, with incitement, or he'll be charged with blasphemy, and he'll be judged in court, and in court the judge will determine whether he has broken the law or not.
And what do you think the punishment should be under Sharia law for blasphemy?
The same punishment as, you know, killing someone, or the same punishment as raping someone.
The death penalty.
The same punishment of these things, yeah.
Let me ask. So that's if the UK was under Sharia law, but as you point out, it's under a secular democracy.
If Tommy Robinson said, you know what, I put my hands up. That's why I want to debate Tommy Robinson. If he puts his hand up and says, no, I was wrong about this, you know, or even if he had intellectual debate with a knowledgeable Muslim, okay, on certain things he's saying, then alhamdulillah, like, you know, that's fine. But what he's saying is very provocative and it's very disingenuous.
Can I ask you a few quick questions, and I'm going to get out of here? You've been very generous with your time, and I know there's other folks who want to talk to you. Just some quick snappers. Do you think that someone who is a homosexual should be allowed to be a teacher in a school?
Say that again, sir?
Someone gay who's a homosexual, should they be allowed to be a teacher in the school in the UK?
I don't think it makes sense. Homosexuality doesn't make sense. If someone is
so you don't think they should be, but
I don't think there's such thing as homosexuality.
Well, the gay people think there is.
Let me speak.
But I'm not asking about the deeper theory. I wanted quick answer.
Because there's a belief that says that you're born gay. I don't believe that makes sense.
Okay. Next question. Should it be against the law to criticize Mohammed?
Say again?
Should it be against the law to criticize Mohammed? Like to draw a cartoon of him?
Well, that is against the law in Islam, yeah.
And is it acceptable to commit violence against someone who makes a cartoon of?
Are you interested in the foundations of the Sharia?
I want to understand who you are. I was told you're a jihadist, and I want to know the truth.
Yeah. Do you accept the foundation which is open and shelter for all citizens?
I think it's a bit more than that. It's the Quran. I haven't studied it deeply enough, and I'm not interested in that question for right now. I want to know if you think that in the UK that violence is acceptable against people who mock Mohammed.
Mock Muhammad.
who like make a caricature or a cartoon or say he's a pedophile. Do you think that violence against is acceptable in that case?
Yeah.
Do you think that
Keep it on that, yeah.
Do you think that should be acceptable? I'm just trying to get. Listen, if you don't want to
Yeah,
answer,
yeah.
I'll walk away. I'll let you be. But I was told you were
I just
jihadist.
I don't think it's like, for example, what is jihadist? What is a jihadist?
Can you tell me?
You're coming saying I'm a jihadist, yeah. What is it?
I've heard that, and I wanted to find out the truth. You would know if you are. Why don't you tell me?
I'm a campaigner for the Sharia in the UK.
Have you ever been to Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Iraq, or Syria?
No.
Would you ever take up arms for a theocracy, like a caliphate?
What I would say is that the government we're under at the moment, Miami law, is oppressing the people. People are committing suicide because they can't have enough money to eat.
You're evading all my questions. I mean, I'm
this is the main thing. It's like an elephant in the room. We're focusing on people like myself, etc.
I got one last question. If someone you knew was going to join ISIS or another terrorist group and go to Syria, Iraq, or somewhere else, if someone said, Abdul Hakim, I'm going to join, am I saying your name right?
Abdul Hakim.
If someone said, Abdul Hakim, I'm going to join ISIS or some other terrorist group, and I'm going to take a SUV and I'm going to run it down Westminster Bridge, would you report them to the police?
No.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed for a Muslim to report on a Muslim brother.
So you wouldn't?
It's not allowed in Islam.
So that's a no.
It's not allowed in Islam.
Has that ever happened to you? Has someone ever said to you, Abdul Hakim, I'm going to join and do a terrorist thing?
No.
Would you even tell me?
It's not even something that someone would do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so you're saying it's never happened?
Sorry?
Listen, I appreciate your time. I'm going to let you go, Abdul Hakim. I appreciate your time.
Okay.
You don't hands with me?
No,
How come?
Because
Am I haram?
I respect. I can't shake hands with women.
But I'm not a woman.
Because you're not.
You won't shake. So that's your excuse for her. But what's your excuse for me? Thanks very much for your time. You won't shake my hand? What, is it because I'm an infidel?
What's the reason you can't?
What's the reason? Well, so the reason is
You come in with an agenda. If you didn't come with an
you
agenda,
won't even shake my hand because you won't even shake. Pardon
This
me?
is Tom Robinson thing. No, look here.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time. You were generous with your time. I'll wave at you then.
Mad thing.
Okay. Bye-bye. So that's my conversation with Abdul Karim, real name Ricardo. As he says, a convert to Islam. I tried to pin him down on things. I found him very much like a watermelon seed. When you push him down from this side, he scooched that side. When you push him down from this side, he scooched that side. But I did get a few things out of him. I asked him if it should be illegal for there to be teachers who are gay. He said, gay isn't even a thing. I'll take it that means he doesn't think there should be gay teachers. I asked him if he thought it was acceptable to commit violence against those who mock Mohammed. And he said, well, under Sharia law, the punishment would be death. I asked him if he had overheard that a friend of his was going to join ISIS or another terrorist group, would he call police? And he said, no, you don't rat out another Muslim. And when I said goodbye to him, I reached out my hand to shake his because he was very generous with his time. And he put up with hecklers who gathered behind us, and he wouldn't shake my hand. And then the women standing next to me offered theirs. I knew he wouldn't shake theirs because I knew that gender apartheid is part of Islam. I didn't know why he wouldn't shake mine. Is it because I'm an infidel? I'm not quite sure why. But I don't know what to make of him. I know there are 23,000 jihadis in the UK who are being tracked by the police. I understand 3,000 of them are tracked 24/7, 365. I don't know if this guy is one of them, but there he is on the street saying under his way of life, under his rule of Sharia law, Tommy Robinson wouldn't be on trial for contempt of court. He'd be on trial for blaspheming against Mohammed, and the punishment would be death. For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levance. I'm
What an interview. Wow. Those questions very incriminating. Now there's 40,000 on the watch list. The numbers have increased. but they don't have the resources to monitor all at the same time. What do I think about what? They don't have the resources to monitor 23,000 or whatever thousand they're talking about. Mhm. Maybe, maybe, man. Maybe you're one of them. I know I'm one of them. So, guys, watch out. I'm on the watch list. But you know what? We don't care, innit? We're not breaking any laws. We have nothing to worry about, nothing to fear. I'm gonna play another interview with him as well from ITV and others. But there's so many of our scholars in prison. Sheikh Ahmed Jibril has also got restrictions. He's got restrictions. Who else? Musa Serantonio from Australia. He's in prison. You got many ulama in Saudi Arabia in prison, like Nasser al-Fahad, Ali and Khudair, Sulaiman al-Alawan, Khalid, is it Khalid al-Hayyak? You got ulama as well that was killed. Sheikh Anwar al-Awlaqi, rahimahullah, and others as well, man. So there was another interview as well, and we don't know the future. We don't know what could happen to us. You know, tomorrow you could be a free person. No, today you could be a free person. Tomorrow you could be a prisoner. You could be taken captive. Yeah, Khalid Rashid as well. Yeah, Khalid Rashid, and many others, man. Many other du'at and scholars. Yeah, bro. I still go, but it's like once in a month because I work and stuff. So, and plus it's dead, innit? The people who usually film me, they're not there, and the reality is the Muslim channels, the Muslim da'wah channels, they're not gonna film myself. So because people like Shamsi and others told them not to film me. So yeah, but the park has kind of changed, isn't it? It's not like the same as before. You know, I miss the good old days. Was it 2018? 2018, the park was very active and busy. You had brother Abdul Hakim was there, Bilal was there, Abu Talha was there, and others, man. So yeah, man. I'll play this one. Abu Rukia, I think he's okay. You can listen to him, but I don't know him that well. Abu Rukia is okay from what I've heard from hearing him. Like he's Ahl Sunnah. I don't know him that well, but his letters on explanation of 40 hadiths is good, man. You can listen to him. Yeah. Lectures and he's got lectures coming out as well, and explanation of the Waqid al-Islam. That's coming up soon. Wait, let's just play this one. Let me see. Share, man. Oh yes, so much been happening recently in the park. So much been happening, man. That's great. What's my opinion on what's happening in Afghanistan? Afghanistan, I don't know, man. To be honest, I don't agree with Taliban in it. So yeah, Taliban has changed, isn't it? They've changed. Yep, definitely. They've become nationalistic and they had other issues as well. This one, yeah. Oops.
Forget about the UK. Let's say I've got
Is they good?
maybe Saudi Arabia. Say I'm moving Saudi Arabia.
Is-
He's like you right now.
Now
You had them a while ago.
we would
Man, I looked out, bro.
Christians, the Jews, everyone to that state. Yeah. And obviously the Bible goes with the land. That's what it is. So a Christian and a Jew is allowed to, of course, that's happening in history. So, yeah, it depends on your money. So if you don't have
Hey, where's your bag? Yo, fam, where's your bag?
yes, sir. Let me just get my bag. I didn't really like
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I'm gonna try and
Imagine the only Muslim here is Abdul Hakim. All the rest are all non-Muslims, bunch of kuffs surrounding him. But he's holding his ground. Alhamdulillah. I don't know, man. I don't know why they're asking him about his bag. So, it's a nuts thing, man. It's nuts.
if he's sincere, right? Okay. Well, I got.
I don't read out on your school, fam.
No, right. I'll take your number. Yeah.
That guy there, don't know.
You have to write it down.
You know the thing. Come on. Respect.
Muslims. About what? Islam. And he went Islam. Yeah. So that's because he used to go around the world and promoting Islam. Now he's left. And he's got a load of fatwas on him and everything, right? So he has to move around.
He likes to debate people, and he likes to say his part, and you like to promote your part, and you're all about honest debate. So, I want what would you want? I mean, I would go on YouTube, but I would probably go through Hangouts privately, record it, and then I'd let you lot have a look. Because you might not be able to fucking put it out on YouTube. Put your number in there, mate, secretly. I can't. Can you type it? I don't be down on his live streaming, fam. Yeah, there's bare cameras recording, they're going to get your number, you know, man.
One of the
be careful.
Of this ridiculous document, the Quran. Yeah? 72 dates. So it's a death call. That's all it is. It's a death call, and it proves it. Yeah. It's a disgrace. Oh, you want to go on YouTube? Go on fake news, will it?
Tag, what are you saying? Did you find the Algin Charger guy? You found him?
Yeah, that was sort of rude of me. I just spoke to Gavin McGinn, and I was trying to talk to him and be polite. He just went, "Oh, sorry, no, I can't talk." Turns out he's a complete.
Is it?
Somewhere in a bright red suit.
I've seen him still. Let me go see what he's saying. Well, it's a public street, you know, fam. Oh no, what is to that's his camera, innit? He wants the exclusives. Can't get the exclusive when COE's about, fam.
Right, so tell me why you need
Well, I would like to start with Tom Robinson. Always calling for thinking, and I think it's very disingenuous. I do believe that Tom Robinson hasn't broken any crime. In this case, is going forward. I don't think he's broken any crime. As a Muslim saying that, for heaven disagrees with him saying that, and I want to say that to him, bro. I don't believe that he broke any law. Even if you look at people reporting his case, they're technically doing the same thing that allegedly he's doing.
Again.
By defamation. And similarly, if it's against the law, what Tom Robinson did.
It's brilliant. Don't preach your big shit around here, mate.
Hang on, let him talk a minute. He's spitting all over me.
I believe that had a very detrimental effect on what the jury said. It's Muslims as well.
How do you feel about Anjan Canary's imminent release?
No, but as a Muslim, I support Islam. I support and I support the Muslims. And I think that the Muslims
Jesus
are
is
being
the
oppressed.
truth, the only way in the life. There is no way to the Father except through Jesus. Right, now he's got to come on, if you like Jesus, you can relate to hell. Get it on.
You're a fan of him by saying that.
The thing is, like a Muslim, when he's in prison, he gets so much rewards, so much. And the day of judgment, those days in prison, the seconds in prison, are going to be so much valuable in the eyes of Allah on the side of Allah. So it's a good thing. If you're going for the truth, if it's a bad thing, you're going for something bad. For example, these grooming gangs, these people.
A guy.
That's disgusting, you know? And we condemn that to Muslim community. That's nothing.
Can you hear the audio? Is the audio sound good? Is the sound quality good? Let me know. Yeah. Let me turn it up then. Let me turn it up a bit. Let me turn it up a bit. Bad audio. Let me just turn it up. It's going to be too
Islam that promotes that kind of stuff, getting women drunk and stuff like that.
What about now?
Well, okay. He said, when God loved the world, every whoever should be them shall not perish and everlasting life. So perish what I do, yeah? So I'm telling him the truth. He's trying to break what's up with Islam. We're telling him about Christianity. This is a Christian country. We're not having a doctrine overrule us, yeah? We're going to speak out now. We've had enough of these guys. It's a Christian country.
What you people
Christianity
understand
for my
is,
children.
you have to understand, if you're going to say that
I'd like to take her out.
what's the definition of beauty? Yeah? And in that definition, you can find to the media. You know, your propaganda machine is used on a daily basis against Muslims, against Islam, against the Muslim community.
I'm not being rude to you. I'm not being rude to you. Okay. I spoke to him about exactly what I spoke to. I spoke to a man here, and I'm fed up with them telling us about their doctrine. No one is
At the
speaking
same time,
about Christianity.
Muslims are Jews to speak the truth. And that's worry about the consequences of speaking the truth. And if that communication is not going to do anything, and under that,
I agree. We just don't allow them to take it and dominate.
when undertaker believes,
Can you hear good?
but I think the main thing we should focus on is democracy and the Sharia. Because the democracy system, you're talking about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely, and we've recorded a lot of material today. Just because I just like specifically asked, so our last conversation was I hear what you said in Bible terms, specifically, how do you feel about this moment approaching, which you this was forgive the days as having restricted
I've turned up the volume. I don't know. You should be able to hear it. But there's a lot of background noise in the recording anyway. So.
There's many people that speak as well. They speak about anything they want. They can speak anything they want. And because they want to celebrate the freedom of speech. But when it comes to the Muslim community, it seems like we don't have freedom to speak our mind. They can't speak about anything because we're brainwashing. You know, there was even one law or something act that came into power, or there's some enforcement where certain people are allowed to teach in universities because certain people might get brainwashed. I mean, if you're that's an insult to people at university. Then you can't. People ain't got a mind to think. You know, saying like this woman, like she's saying I shouldn't be able to speak because people are going to get brainwashed. But I say this is ridiculous. Like, I should be able to speak what I want. Like just like Tom Robinson should be able to speak what he wants. You know what I'm saying?
So you think when Andrew Chandler is released, despite his conviction, he should be allowed to say what he wants, he should be allowed to preach, he should be allowed to
I don't
pretend to the life that he had beforehand.
Yeah, I think the thing with Andrew Chandler is exposed a problem with the laws. It's exposed a massive problem, which is you can speak as long as it agrees with what we say. Because you know the balance. Even if you look at Andrew Chandler, if you go back and look at Andrew Chandler's first hearing after he started, the prosecution
Tommy Robinson! Whoa, Tommy Robinson! Oh, Tommy Robinson! Do you think that his freedom of expression should be restricted in any way? Just one last question. Given his conviction, once he's released next month, should he?
Ask your questions. Ask your honest questions. It's going to
Are you allowed to have sex with children?
Anyone that's gone to prison in this country that has been.
What's your views on sex with children? What's your views on sex with children? What's your views on sex with children?
You're right. What's your views?
I think it's totally wrong and immoral. But one
Muslim ask me a question like that, man. In Islam, you stick sticks up people's anus if they.
So you're not doing it in this country then?
Look, yeah, like I said to him, man.
Can we just finish the
I was talking to him.
conversation?
This is
One more question.
Tom
One more question. So just one more question. Given his conviction, I'm interested to hear what you think about whether his rights to interact with should be restricted as appears to be what's likely to happen.
Understand is that by his own desires, he's going to oppress the people. So he's not going to stick to his own, the own constitution of the country is freedom of speech. So obviously, when they're oppressing that, when they're going
Freedom of
against that,
speech. Tommy on his freedom of speech.
So
Can not Tommy have his freedom of speech?
he's having his freedom of speech.
He got arrested.
one last
Yeah,
clarification.
not you.
But the law is the law at the moment. Isn't going to change. Do you think it? What's your opinion?
Their main thing is, we don't want to have. If you look at any book on how governments are falling, if you have a government that needs to people like this country, it's not fulfilling the needs of people. It's convincing people that there's no superior alternative. Alternative is being echoed by Andy Chowdhury year after year, and other Muslims, which is the Sharia.
Give me a theological answer to a legal
No,
question.
no. That's why the government doesn't want people to take superior alternative, and that's why it's going to be restricted.
But I'm asking you about the restrictions likely to be imposed.
My opinion is irrelevant.
You're a friend of Andy. So I'm interested.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Well, it's something that, like, India, I think, his families. I wish him all the best, But the thing is, people just look at the other problem in society, which is the marriage system. It's not okay.
Will they gravitate towards him personally?
Stop. You can come out the way to pass.
The thing is, there's a lot of whenever there's a knowledgeable chef and sincere, alhamdulillah, I'm Muslim, and so it's not the issue is with Chowdhury. This is what the media needs to stop. So maybe Andy Chowdhury will come out and say, even the great scholars of the past, like Ibn Taymiyyah, is not the standard. The standard for Muslim belief is the Quran. It's agreed upon.
All right, thank you very much.
I know.
We've got mass grooming gangs, breaking authorities. Give me a favour. As long as you're talking, then all you're doing is creating a danger to people.
Lead the way.
He stole my phone number. Man stole my phone number, like, ITV. Man, like ITV.
I don't know what's
I don't know what's going on.
It seems though that you've been gone for some time.
Can you let the community know, like, where have you been, and are there any restrictions on you in terms of filming? And is this like one of the only chances you're gonna get? So go ahead. No, go ahead, but keep talking that way. Say that. Jesus, that. How you brother, right? Hey, how come you didn't hold the balloon? First of all, Snap a true religion of Abraham, Moses. Every single prophet used his message. Fundamental message. It's a man's a celebrity.
Famous.
Into the banking capital.
I'm gonna pause there now. Yeah, that was Abdul Hakim, man. May Allah bless him. Good brother I've known for many years. May Allah accept him, accept his deeds, forgive him of his, and reward him Jannah. Ameen. If anybody wants to join in, and feel free. Otherwise, I'm gonna lock off soon. All right, I'm back. Yeah. So, what you saying in the chat? So, what can I do? Plus, I'm starting to pick up quite busy. You need to. How should you spend your life as a Muslim? The guidelines is in the Quran and the Sunnah, simple. So, and as you know, these days it's very hard to make Izharuddin. So what can I do? Plus, I'm starting to become busy in life. There's other ways in it to make Izharuddin in it. Izharuddin is prevailing the religion. So there's other ways. Spread the deen in it on social media. You can you can do that. You can probably set up a stall or distribute literature with sisters. You know. What else? What else is there? Set up accounts and just spread the deen and the call for Islam as a complete way of life. Simple. I know there's been no demonstrations for years. There's been no demonstration for years, man. They block my Instagram ID. If they block you, just make another one. Just make another one. And Telegram. Your Telegram is blocked. I was trying to look for another video to play as a continuation from a different recorder. I can't find it for some reason. Yeah, just make a new one. Simple. Just make a new one. It's easy. That's straightforward. What's it? Tonight is Juma. Yeah. It's Juma tomorrow, so it's the best day of the week for us. And even for the kuffar, they always look forward to Friday. Yeah, I used to have Twitter, and they used to shut it down. I don't really have that much in socials, to be honest. So yeah, but the dawah continues. Get me? Yeah, man. The da'wah continues. The struggle continues. Jihad will be continuous. Ila qiyam as-sa'ah. Nope, I'm not on TikTok, man. I don't really like the TikTok thing. TikTok's not for me, man. I find TikTok a bit weird. Yeah, I don't have Facebook. Oh, I think I'm gonna call it a night, and maybe until next time. Yeah, I have that. Yeah, I have Snap. But until next time, inshallah. And yeah, this Sunday I'm gonna make a visit as well. I'll be addressing somebody. So clear up some misconception. All right, we're gonna end the stream. Nobody is willing to join the panel and give their thoughts about Muslim prisoners awareness. Maybe next time I will open this subject again and we can discuss it, revisit it properly. But I just thought to share a brother's experience, because it's the situation of a lot of Muslims in it, or some of this ummah. Yeah, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us steadfast and protect us from the plots of the kuffar and the munafiqeen. Ameen. And to make victorious this deen, and to help and aid our scholars, our prisoners, the poor, the weak, the destitute, the widows, the orphans, the terminally ill, the temporarily ill, those who are going through troubles and difficulties in their life, everywhere in the East or in the West, and make Islam victorious. Ameen. And grant victory to the Mujahideen everywhere. Ameen. And avenge for us, assist us, aid us, defend us, and that he should destroy DCCI. Ameen. That hateful crusader, evil, wicked ministries, as they refer to themselves as a ministry. Nasty ministry. Very nasty. Okay, وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.